Hey everyone, welcome to our full product review for the ASUS GL553. To kick things off, we should go over the specs of the device to know what we're working with. That starts us with the CPU, which is the Intel i7-7700HQ Kaby Lake. We have the GPU, which is an NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti with 4 GB of DDR5 RAM, and it has Optimus technology. The memory inside is 16 GB of DDR4 at 2400 MHz. Storage inside is a 256 GB M.2 SSD and a 1 TB 5400 RPM hard disk drive. For connectivity inside, you have built-in Gigabit Ethernet LAN, integrated 802.11a, G, and N wireless LAN, and Bluetooth 4.0. Powering the device is a 4-cell smart lithium-ion battery pack. There's a 1.2 megapixel HD camera above the 15.6 FHD anti-glare matte type screen at the resolution rate of 1920 by 1080. On the left-hand side of the device is the AC power port plug-in spot, the RJ45 Ethernet port, HDMI port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, a USB 3.1 port, and a headphone microphone combo port. On the right-hand side, there's one USB 2.0 port, the 8X DVD-RW CDRW Super Multi-Combo Drive, and the Kensington lock. And on the very front of the device, there's a 2-in-1 card reader. As for the keyboard, it has full backlighting with 4 brightness settings and options. It also has multiple color options for the user to play around with in the Aura lighting software that is included. The keys themselves have good tactile feedback while under use. There is a small amount of flex in the face of the keyboard, but nothing that's too overwhelming. The screen's brightness and resolution looks pretty good at most angles and has good color representation. The touchpad included is an all-in-one unit with a matte finish, and its left and right click functionality is built into the bottom of the solid piece design. Despite being an all-in-one touchpad, there are actually no dead zones on it, which is great and doesn't sacrifice real estate while using it. Included in the box with the GL553 is a user guide and warranty information card and the included power cables. The weight of the laptop alone sits right at 5.3 pounds, and if you're going to take this device on the go and bring the included power cables, the total weight would be 6.25 pounds. As for the battery life with the GL553, I had some varying results compared to the GL753, which uses the same 4-cell lithium-ion battery. The 553 averaged a little over 2 hours of use time with 50% brightness and battery saver mode on while running basic tasks like web browsing and documents. In comparison, the GL753 I ran had an average of 4 to 5 hours. Taking a look at the inner workings of the laptop over here, we have where the hot air ventilates out from the single fan that keeps the whole laptop cool. It actually does a very effective job of keeping both the CPU and GPU cool from these 2 copper pipes. Seems like that is not enough, but it actually does a very good job. But then again, it is a 1050 Ti, so not as much heat is going to be generated as maybe something with a larger GPU inside of it, but it does a very good job and it keeps the noise down. Up here at the top, you have the battery pack that goes along the top underneath kind of the screen. That's this portion up here. Right here, we have our Wi-Fi and our Bluetooth card right here, just tucked in there nicely. We have our DVD combo CD drive right here. You could upgrade this to a Blu-ray drive if you wanted or something else. We have options available there. Down here, you do have your hard disk drive. This is our 1 TB drive in this model. Once again, you could do upgrades to this too. If you wanted to put something in it like a solid state drive, you'd actually save on some power too because there'd be no spinning parts, so you get slightly better battery life and much quicker speeds compared to a hard disk drive. So there are upgrades available there. You have your M.2 right here vertically mounted. This is what your OS is typically installed to. This is your quick drive in the machine. You also have upgrade options available to that too if you wanted to put a larger size M.2 or quicker speed M.2 in there. Your SD reader is right here. This is the front of the laptop. That's why we also have these 2 speakers down at the bottom that would project sound toward the user if you were sitting in front of it. And then underneath this flap is your 1 stick of 16 gigs of RAM. There's one other slot that is open, so upgrading would be very easy. We have options for different speeds of RAM and more RAM if you would like to do that to your device as well. Getting out our temperature gun, we decided to take readings of the face of the laptop. As you can see, it's actually quite cool all across this whole laptop as that single fan inside does a good job to distribute the heat and remove it from the device. Coming around to the side where all of it is dispersed, the temperatures do come up a little bit, but really there's nothing over here that's too hot or anything that is uncomfortably hot. While running some gaming benchmarks, we decided to check out the decibel level noise of the device. At the front, sitting away from it where you'd normally be at, we had readings of 43 decibels. Moving our reader up to the front of the machine, our readings increased to 52 decibels. And then finally, putting it right up next to that fan gave us readings of 65 decibels. So overall, a fairly quiet laptop while under gaming loads. Kicking off our benchmarks, we started it off with Firestrike, which scored 6,542, which is better than 39% of all devices that have ran this test, which is an okay score for a 1050 Ti. Our next test was with Cinebench. We ran OpenGL, and it actually averaged 102 FPS, which is surprisingly high for a 1050 Ti, but we'll take it. And then for the CPU score, we scored 732 CB, which once again falls right in line with where it should be with this 7700 HQ. Our next test was with Crystal Disk. We ran it first on the solid state drive for its sequential write and read speeds, which read at 472 megabytes and it wrote at 409 megabytes. And next we did the hard disk drive, which read at 129 megabytes and wrote at 107. Moving along to our real-world testing, we started off with Grand Theft Auto 5. We tested it on high with no MSAA and then turning it on to ×2 and ×4. We averaged 70, 57, and 48 FPS. While doing our test, the GPU's temperature was at 74 degrees Celsius. Our second test was with Rise of the Tomb Raider. We ran it on low, medium, and on high. We averaged 72, 58, and 54 FPS. The temperature while running our test was at 75 degrees Celsius. And for our third test, we ran Dirt Rally on high with MSAA at ×2, 4, and 8. It averaged 94, 91, and 74 FPS. And the temperature of the GPU while running its test was at 73 degrees Celsius. So overall, fairly cool temperatures while under gaming loads. If you're looking to put a personal touch on your machine, be sure to check out our extensive customization options before checkout, including upgrades available to RAM, storage, cooling, overclocking, custom paint, hydro and graphic wraps, laser etching, and much, much more. If you'd like to take a closer look at any of the specific BIOS menu screens, make sure that you pause the video on the one that you would like to view closer. If not, be sure to check out the product link in the description or leave us any comments down below if you have questions for us here at Exotic PC. I've been Andrew saying thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for future product overviews and reviews.